I guess I'll get right to the point. I've never really thought about trying to express this experience I've ever had before. Um, I must have been around 13, 14, maybe a bit younger. I'm unsure. I didn't really keep a date on this just because of the age, but I had a very interesting dream where, to get to the bread and butter of it, I guess, but I had a dream that I had fallen into the back of a moving truck, but as I was doing that, the back of the truck had come done, and instead of falling onto the bottom of the truck, I just kept floating through this dark void of space, and this loud, almost kind of like a vibration frequency, some kind of like background music you would hear. It was incredibly loud, and it was just everywhere. What should have been, I guess, my body just kind of became like intertwined with the fabric of space as I was just like floating through. And suddenly there was a voice that had come around from all angles. It was layered, it was loud, it was both masculine and feminine. And I remember it telling to me that we need to take care of the earth, for it is us. And obviously at that age, batshit, even now, batshit. And I think that has been enough that's been with me for a very long time, of this insanely intense dream of knowing that my concept of God, I guess, is more of a goddess, in the sense that, well, one, if you really want to talk about if God is a creator, someone who has birthed something, well, we know that women typically birth. I should, I guess, rephrase that to people with wombs are able to give birth. People who have that reproductive capacity. And in that way, I was like, well, it would make more sense than if women were or a more feminine expression of the divine. And I don't know, I think it's just crazy looking around and having my own practice over here by myself. And I especially as someone who's kind of dabbled in a lot of other, I don't want to say dabbled in religions in the sense that like I went out of my way to say I was that thing, but I would do research and I would pay attention to what other people were saying when it came to like magic or paganism. I had legitimately dabbled in that sense, where I'd worship different gods and try to get a better understanding in various different cultures, and it still came down to the same feeling I had, where I was like, well, there must be something older than this, and that's where we kind of get more into nature spirituality. I don't know, I guess I just kind of want to come on here and be like, this insane dream I've had of knowing that there is something very much beyond me, and this is coming from someone who wants to study physics after wanting to study philosophy, which I know sounds like a jump, but it's really not. And realizing that so many people around me are honestly just really ignorant and in fear, and use that, it's almost very much, it's very primitive, and I mean primitive in the sense that we are primates. I feel like I look around and most people do not have the capacity, or refuse to use their brain that has the capacity to think beyond themselves. And that's what's gotten us in this circumstance to begin with the literal planet being sick at this point. We hurt ourselves, we hurt each other, we make ourselves sick, we make other people sick, we make the earth sick, we hurt the earth, we exploit it, we exploit ourselves and others. Everything just becomes interconnected in that sense that we don't respect ourselves or other people, we don't respect our literal resources, we don't respect our money, we don't respect anything. We hate ourselves. Like, as a culture, we just hate ourselves. And I'm really hoping that maybe over time, and hopefully soon, more people can start going, this is bullshit. A lot of our systems are bullshit and have been developed a very long time ago to serve a very small niche group of individuals who would be, you know, like white cis men. And obviously there are way more people in the world who are not white cis men. So that system on a global scale logically does not work. It just does not work in that way. I'm very much someone who not kind of, I do believe that if we go back to more nature-based spirituality, it would probably I'm gonna put fix loosely. I think it may help reestablish some foundations that we have tried getting rid of and have now caused problems. I don't know. I guess that was mostly it, just wanting to come on here and be like, I have weird dreams. I don't know if anyone else has had dreams like this, where it feels like some divine intelligence is trying to tell you something and you lose sight of your own body and senses, and it's this you are the universe sort of situation. And I agree with that. I think consciousness itself has just been recycled and evolving over time, and it's limited based on whatever sensations it physically has in its vessel. As a human being experiencing a human experience, that's only because I'm limited to my human sensations, versus a cat who has their own form of awareness is limited to that vessel's nervous system, the way that they're able to perceive and sense their environment. Same for any other living organism. If you really want to get into it, even this like trampoline that I'm sitting on, in its own way, is exactly in its own image of God. I know it sounds kind of out there and abstract, but the more that we look outside of ourselves, the more we see ourselves and everything else. Which is funny to say that, because you would think that people who are incredibly selfish, which is most of our culture, to be completely honest, is a very egocentric culture, that they would be able to see that. But no, it's a very primitive egocentric culture of not being even able to survive on a regular basis. And so we latch on to anything that gives us a sense of relief, and that causes, I think, a lot of addictive behaviors. And we're now seeing that with cell phones, we're seeing that with social media, and even actual substance abuse. We're seeing that with more and more people actively just talking about their addictions, not even in the sense of like trying to overcome addictions, just everyone's addicted to something. It's very hard to not be addicted to something in a culture like this that's incredibly rough. I don't know if I have a better, it's volatile, it's disgusting, it's heavy, it's nauseating. It would make sense that anyone would want some sort of escape from that like immense hell that we're living in. And I worry that we kind of are on this path of a mass human suicide. You know, we've put in these motions a while ago, and they're just going and going still. A lot of us don't know how to take care of ourselves, and it's not inherently our fault, I would say. I think that was systemically set up in a way so that people, for control, obviously, and so now we're dealing with the consequences of where we now have mass groups of people, generations worth of people, who are so disconnected from the earth that I am very worried and scared that we'll end up like killing ourselves off as a species just because we won't know how to take care of ourselves without technology. And I know technology's been around obviously for a while, and there's various types of technology, but the people who have the information of how to actually work the land and how to pay attention to I guess natural signals, such as being able to tell time from the sun, or being able to tell when it's going to rain by watching the clouds, being able to tell how plants are doing by, you know, observing their growth patterns, stuff like that. That's not really taught unless you go get a degree, and even then it's really frustrating when you see people are only getting a degree because they feel like they need to, and not because they actually want to learn anything, which at that point, what the fuck are you doing? If you have to get a degree and you know you're going to be in debt, you might as well be in debt to something you actually give a shit about, and not because you think it's going to make you money. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but nothing's going to make you money if you fucking hate it. And I don't think it's responsible to put yourself in a position where other people may need to rely on you and you don't even know what you're fucking doing. Like being in the medical field, for example, and you're only doing it for money. As someone with chronic health issues, fuck you, to be completely honest, because I can see immediately when someone, although, yeah, went through the money and training, whatever, I don't think they're good people. And I think they prioritize money over people while simultaneously getting a ego kick of I'm a good person because I help people. I think we see the same issue with people who become teachers at times. Not all of them, obviously, but there are definitely some people who become teachers or nurses or cops. A lot of positions of power where it seems to be very altruistic, but in reality it's very self-serving because it gives them that level of control while still feeling like a good person. And that's a very big issue. I've gone off topic, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.